Hi everybody, it is Kendell Lenice, and I am a colon cancer survivor. Along with God, I beat cancer. Now, y'all already know me as vulnerable, and I teach and I'm open and all of that. But I wanted to do this video 1 week post-op at one of my favorite places. Now, I'm in pain. I can barely walk. My husband is helping me walk, but I'm still here. And because of that background, I know that there is a God. And not because of that background, of course, but because I am a miracle standing in front of you. Many of you know that I had surgery, and you gave me all of your amazing prayers, and I thank you so very much. The prayers that were coming in, man, oh man, y'all were some praying fools, and I needed that, and I appreciate that, because what some don't know is I had the surgery to remove the cancer from my colon. I had carcinoma of the descending colon cancer. That was so hard for me to say, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you, and let me tell you how fast it went, and let me tell you why I'm a miracle. All of this happened in the month of March. So I wrote down some things just because this is just an emotional thing, right? And I have my blue on. I don't know if you all know, it is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Many people don't know March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and the color is blue. A lot of people talk about breast cancer being in October and the color is pink. It is the color of blue that I have on right now. So I'm asking you now, can I share my story with you about how God saved my life in the month of March? It all happened so fast, y'all. Let me give you 3 significant dates. March 5th, March 18th, and March 24th. I will never forget those days. Today is March 25th. I had surgery a week ago today. So on March 5th, I've been going to my family practitioner, my main doctor, for 26 years, and I'll be 50 in June, and thank God I'm going to make it to see 50. I turned 50 in June, and everyone has heard the stories that, okay, when you turn 50, you get your first colonoscopy, right? So I was like, okay, I had my checkup, and I said, okay, that's part of it. You know, I say get blood work, get your colonoscopy because you're turning 50. So I'm saying, okay. So I get the paper and I do all the things, make my appointments, not even thinking nothing of it. You know, when ladies, when you have to get a mammogram, it's like, oh Lord, please, you know, allow my breast to be good. But when I went into the colonoscopy, I didn't even think about or consider that I might have colon cancer. I went for a routine. Shout out to my girlfriend, Kim Harden. She took me to get my colonoscopy, she had one like months before. So we just are talking in regular. So I go in, you know, you drink all of the stuff that you need to drink, so you're totally clear. So when you get your colonoscopy, they can see what they need to see, the doctor. So they put you to sleep, they do your colonoscopy, they put you in a recovery room, and then they wheel you out, you know, into the recovery room, like I said. So they were asking, I can hear them as I was waking, asking if my ride was here. And they said she went down the street. As I look at one of the IV marks in my hand, I had a needle in my thigh when I was in the hospital, my hand, my arm, this arm. I had a stent, a catheter, but I'll get back to that. So she takes me, so they wheel me out. I'm in the recovery room. My girlfriend Kim comes to pick me up because you're a little woozy, so you need somebody there. And then he says, you have, we found something. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He was like, I wouldn't even kid about anything like that. I wish I was. And he said that you have a malignant area in your colon. And I said, are you saying what I think you're saying? And he said, yes. So my girlfriend is like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And let me tell you, Kim was the best person to be there because she's just cool, calm, collective. You know, she didn't freak out. I didn't freak out. And I just was kind of stone-faced. I didn't bust out crying. I didn't have, what do you mean? I just absorbed it, was quiet, and I said, okay. He said, call this. And I said, so what happens next? He said, you'll get surgery to remove that cancerous piece, and then they'll reattach your colon once they get out all of the cancerous cells, right? So I say, okay. And he gives me a paper and he says, call this doctor, this surgeon. So I didn't wait till I got home. I got in the car. I called that surgeon. He was in surgery. They said he'll call me back. He honored his word. He called back. So I began to talk to him about what's happening and what it is. So let me tell you, this is all within 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks. This is within 2 weeks. I was fine. I was walking around healthy. I was not feeling bad. I was walking around, for whoever, God knows, with cancer in my body, had no clue ever. That's why I came to you to talk about my story and to share that, because my story will save someone else's life. I know it. I know it. I know it. God told me. And I'm not going to keep this to myself. But I was walking around healthy. Nothing was wrong with me. I was eating right. I go to the doctor. They're saying that I'm doing everything right. I have no medications for nothing. I'm taking care of myself. But yet and still, I'm walking around with cancer in my body, not even knowing it. So I called the surgeon. And he's like, speak to Margarita at my office. And let me tell you something about Margarita. Just on point with everything. She would send me an email, detail. This is what you have to do. So because everything was so fast that week, so I went that Friday, March 5th. So I had an interview to do March 5th with Leroy McKenzie Jr. for their new magazine. And they were doing, they were just talking about their new magazine, and I was in that issue. So we were talking about that. That was 2 hours after I found out that news. But I was like, I gotta still keep being Kendell. I have to be me. I can't let, you know, the devil steal this or steal what's in me. I just couldn't do it. You know, even though, you know, that your world is rocked. You know, that's some news for you know what? That's news. So I talked to Margarita. So she's like, okay, starting Monday, this is what you have to do. I didn't have no time, the weekend, that's it. I had to get my blood work. I had to get all the pre-ops. Wednesday, I had to go back to my family doctor, and I had to get the EKGs. I had to, you know, get CT scans, which I've never gotten, with a contrast. All of this stuff, but not just those stuff. It's before you do your blood, you have to prepare this way. Before you go to the doctor, you have to prepare this way. Before you get the CT scans, you have to do, you have to do something, you have to do that, right? So all of these things I had to do prior to, and my mind was spinning. My mind was spinning because it was so overwhelming. It was so many things that you had to do. You know, I didn't have time to, you know, let me do this, let me do that. It's just like, okay, what do I have to do? So I'm following these things like a Bible. I'm following these guidelines. Can you turn that down just a little bit? I'm following these guidelines, right, on what to do, how to do it, what to take, what not. I had to order this pre-op box with all of these things that I had to do. And I don't want to get into all of that, but it was a lot that I had to do to prepare for this surgery. And I just want to shout out, and I'm going to shout out people at the end, but Nicole Hudson was one of the first people I called that Friday that I found out, because I know that she survived and kicked breast cancer's butt, and she's coming up on her year. So I was like, she knows what's that what that is like to get that diagnosis, right? So I called her, and immediately she got on the phone with the Cancer Center of America. She had them texting me and calling. She was texting, she went into mode. So Nicole, I will never forget that. And I called someone else, Yvette Foreman, who got a diagnosis, because I do a lot of work with breast cancer, y'all. I've gotten citations and certificates for helping out in the breast cancer community, just as a family supporter type thing. So Yvette, I reached out to her, as the days went on. I didn't do it just yet, because to say the words, I have cancer, I was not giving that word any power. I just kept saying the C word. I could not say cancer. I could not say it. Like, I kept saying the C word. I felt if I said the word, I would give that word power. Not that I was delusional and not knowing what I had. Trust me, I was very clear on what he said, right? But I just felt like I could not give that any power. So I do all of the pre-op that week before, and thank you, God. My surgeon was, let me just talk about this, y'all. My surgeon had gone on vacation the week after. So I'm like, that's right, he's resting up. I talked to him. He kind of comforts me. And then God starts showing, well, no, he's been in the picture, but God started revealing certain things. Now, I was born in Buffalo, New York. My surgeon, a couple of his schools were in Buffalo, New York. That's odd. My surgery was on March 18th, and he had been doing surgery for 33 years. My sister's birthday was March 18th, and she was turning 33 that day, and when I talked to him and his whole office, his staff, amazing. They helped me so much. And Dr. Berg, later I find out that he's this world-renowned doctor who specializes in colon and bowels and rectal and just all of these things. He has his credentials. I don't want to mess it up, but he specializes in what I needed. And he's top in the country, not the world, I'm sorry, the country. So, and I'm seeing all of these certificates, I'm learning all of this stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is who I was referred to. I didn't even have to, after researching him and discovering that. And he was amazing. He was direct. He was honest. He showed me on a diagram what kind of surgery I would have, what I would need, what will happen, what were the pros, the cons. He was very direct, but still had a bedside manner and still was an amazing doctor. And it was important to me that he was an amazing human being. So his staff, I asked a couple, like, well, how is his spirit? How is he? And they were like, he's a good doctor. He's a good man, and that was important to me. If you're working on me, your expertise, but then also that. And I got a chance to look him in his eyes and talk to him, 2 times. I talked to him on the phone, and he kind of, helped me. And then going to his office to have appointments the Monday before my surgery and the day before my surgery, Wednesday. And I just told him, I said, I just want to live. I was like, I just want to live. And he was like, you will. I'm thinking about my daughter's birthday coming up. I'm thinking about my daughter graduating from college. I'm thinking about my 50th birthday. I'm just thinking about all of these things are going. And I was like, I want to live, and he was like, you will. And I was like, can you please just take care of me? And that's what I told the surgeon. He was like, I will. My husband felt comfortable with him. He liked him, and it was helping. That was the day before the surgery, because let me tell y'all, the devil was working at night. At night, some nights were the hardest times for me. Like, I didn't bust out crying, and I'm very sensitive and that type of person. So I'm surprised. And that's why I know I had the light of God. That's why I know that I had that kind of peace in me, even though it was still nerve-wracking. Don't get it twisted. It's not like I was like, whatever. No, it was something that affects you forever, right? But it was something that I still had, even though I had a little worry or nervousness, I still had peace. You know what I'm saying? It's very, like, at night, like, I would hear, well, what if you die? Or what if cancer takes you out? You have cancer. What if you don't live? What if you don't make it to see? Maybe you need to do this before you go in the hospital because you might not come out. You hear those type of things. So I would combat it with prayer. I would combat it with meditation, going to sleep. I would try to combat that, and then it lessened and lessened and lessened. And let me shout out, Simone I. Smith. That's LL Cool J's wife, but she's more than that for me. I've always liked her, loved her attitude, loved her spunk. I get her jewelry all the time. I wish I had her earrings on right now, but I love her spirit. And the reason why I reached out to her and her friend, because she had cancer and she beat it. She had a diagnosis. I remember back when she had it and she was saying she was crying. She cried for like 10 days and she couldn't believe it. And as a mom and as a wife, she didn't want to leave her family too. So I reached out to her and she gave me some scriptures, and we talked, via text, via DM, and she was just so, just so gracious and just so dope, you know what I mean? And she gave me several scriptures, but one stuck out in my mind, and that was Psalms 91. And that helped me at night because it was talking about through the darkness and the dark times at night, and you guys read that for yourself. But that scripture started changing how I was feeling at night, right? And then eventually it gone away. And I had only told a few people what was happening. I told you guys that I was getting surgery, an emergency surgery. You guys didn't know what it was, but you still prayed. And then I told certain people that I'm getting surgery, pray separately. Then I told people I had the C word, but it was just only who my spirit led me to tell. And that's how I really did it. So somebody I might not have told before, I told. And somebody who I might have told before, I didn't tell. I just let the spirit lead that, right? So everybody was just so positive, like, you're going to live, it's going to be all right. You're already healed, down from my husband too. Cause let me just back up. I had to call my daughters and tell them this. I had to call my husband and tell them this. So I had to say it. So they're like, what? Like, huh? They weren't even expecting that. So imagine making that call, right? Yeah. But I want to say, and I don't want to make this super long because I'll answer questions. I'm going to do more videos about genetics and health and all of that. But I just wanted to share my story with you. You are looking right now at a woman who is a cancer survivor. That sounds crazy to say it out of my mouth, but I beat colon cancer. I'm a colon cancer survivor by the grace of God. Trust me, not by me. But it's so many miracles that happen and so many things that lined up. Even something as simple as having my hair cornrowed. I haven't had my hair cornrowed in 20 years. But to make it easy, I got my hair cornrowed, and then 2 days later I found out that I'm going to have to get surgery and get put in the hospital. So go to the hospital. Y'all know, some of y'all black women know, you don't want to have to worry about nothing, right? So even something as simple as that. Something as simple as, or major as, my doctor is going to retire next year from doing this, he is amazing, right? And even to the hospital, when I found out that the hospital that I was going to said that they weren't doing any surgeries because of COVID, because they were dedicating their time to COVID patients. So even down to that, but now they do. They released a restriction a week before I had my surgery so I can have a visitor and my husband can stay in there, and he stayed all night every single day. I was in the hospital the 4 days. So even just small glimpses of God's grace and showing that God is here. I can go on and on and on and tell you different little things. It's crazy when I think about the things leading up to it. I'm like, God put this in place, that in place, that in place, and I had no clue. Even as far as it's Women's Month in March, and it's Colon Cancer Awareness Month in March. Uh-oh, babe, can you get that? And Colon Cancer Awareness Month in March. Come on now. When March 1st came, I had no clue. When 2021 came, I had no clue that this is going to be my story. Had no clue. So then March 1st is coming. I'm posting all this woman's mom. Did I post anything about colon cancer? No, because it wasn't on my radar. But what I'm saying to y'all, it has to be. So even how God set this up for me. So let me just quickly, because I don't want to make this a whole long thing for y'all. But even this, I just want to say that for Black people, you need to get tested 45 and over. The standard age is 50 for other folk. But what they don't tell you is Black folks need to get tested for colon cancer and get colonoscopies at 45 and up. Now, we're not part of the standard. Y'all know we special anyway, got to be different. But 45 and over, you need to get tested. You need to be an advocate for yourself. I didn't know that. I had no clue. I was waiting to what the doctors say and what everybody says that you read. 50 and over. When you get 50, you got to get your colon checked, got to get the colonoscopy, right? But I didn't know that it was 45 and over. And I talked to people, nobody knew that. Or some of you might have known that, but that's not really the thing, right? It's 50 and over. And if you're Black, you got to make sure that you advocate for yourself and say, no, I need to do this. And then also what I didn't know is my grandmother had colon cancer, but she had it in her 70s and 80s. And they say that's not genetic because she had it at an older age, but it still may be a factor. Also, my mom didn't have colon cancer, but she had polyps, which is the beginning of cancer, but hers were benign. So they don't ask you that at the doctor. They just say, do you have any history of colon cancer? And I've said for years, my grandmother had colon cancer. And they'll say, well, that's not your mom. But they don't ask you, did your mom have polyps? You see what I'm saying? So they don't ask you that. Those are the questions that you need to know. And I'm going to go more and more, and it's talking about eating and lifestyle. My doctor sat at the day after surgery. He was talking about the things that I eat and I don't eat. He said, you are doing everything right. Correct. You're eating right. You're taking care of your body. I'm not on any medications. I don't have any issues or problems or ailments. I have nothing. I am a healthy woman. They kept saying that the whole way through. I'm healthy. Yet I still got colon cancer. So if I can save somebody's life out there, that's what I'm committing to do, because it's so important. As I was looking up the faces of colon cancer, and now we know Chadwick Boseman, actor Chadwick Boseman, died of colon cancer. And it hurts my heart because I guarantee, I don't know for a fact, but my opinion is he did not get a colonoscopy because he wasn't 50. He wasn't 50. He was younger. So somebody probably told him, you don't need one until 50. And had he known 45 and under, or 45, or his family's history possibly, then he could have been saved possibly, right? And Chadwick, now we know him as the face of colon cancer. But when I was looking, I seen hardly no brown or Black faces. I seen white males and white women. I didn't see anybody that looked like me. You know how when you look up breast cancer, you see all of the Black women and they got their sisterhood and their groups and all of that. I didn't see that with colon cancer. So as I was looking at all of the survivors were white that I looked up. White men and women. I didn't see any colon cancer survivors that looked like me. And I'm just keeping it real. So that goes to show me that there's a glitch somewhere. I just know, I gave you 3 dates. I told you March 5th is when I got the colonoscopy. March 18th is when I had the surgery. And yesterday, my surgeon called me, right? And he said, how you feeling? I'm thinking he's just calling to see how I'm progressing, because I'm only a week post-op. And he says, do you want to hear some good news? And I was like, Yeah. He said, well, I was supposed to remove 12 lymph nodes to test to make sure that there was no cancer in your lymph nodes. But I removed 28 because I wanted to make, I wanted to be extra sure. And he said all 28 lymph nodes he pulled, I am cancer free. Cancer free. He cut out the cancerous part when he did the surgery, and I was cancer free then. But if anyone knows that it could be cancer in your lymph nodes, right? So he said, I'm cancer free and I don't need chemo or radiation. If that's not a miracle and that's not God, I don't know what is. Hear me clearly. So he says that, and this is why I love Dr. Berg, because he went above and beyond. He was like, I'm not just going to take the 12 to test them. I'm going to take out 28 lymph nodes and we're going to have them tested. And yesterday on March 24th, he called me and said everything was negative, cancer free, no chemo, no radiation. That call could have been, okay, we found them in your lymph nodes. You have chemo. You got to get chemo and radiation. Tell me I am not a miracle. Tell me God did not save my life. Tell me that. Because in the month of March, I had cancer and I beat cancer in 1 month. You guys know people with cancer, their struggle and their battle with chemo and radiation, and it goes on for a year, 2, 3. Now, I'm not saying I don't have to get tested. I have to get tested, every year for the next 5 years to make sure everything is fine. But it's gone. That's God. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? March 5th, I find out I have cancer. March 18th, I get a surgery. March 24th, Dr. Berg calls me and says that I'm cancer free. Within a month, that's God. My name is Kendell Lenice, and I'm a colon cancer survivor. And March is colon cancer month. And I need y'all to get a colonoscopy and genetic testing if possible, because you could be walking around like I was with cancer in your body or other diseases in your body and not know. I was still working out. I was still lifting my weights. I was still eating right. I was still doing, I was doing my Goldie gummies, which I am a partner with, and all of that. He was like, you are doing good. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm doing everything right. And he tells me that. So imagine that you're conscious about what you put in your body and you're conscious about what you do. And then the doctor tells you that. So I just want everybody to be safe, and I wanted to tell my story so you all can hear my testimony. People are like, people don't know what you're going through because you're still online posting. I'm in pain right now. I couldn't even sit on the seat by myself right now as I'm talking to you. My husband had to help me get in and out the car to come here. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't realize, and I'm doing videos and I'm on, and people are like, what is going on with you? Like, how are you? So people didn't know the severity of what's going on with me. But God will not take the light out of me. Like, for some reason, I still shine because he's right here, and I won't be defeated. I want to live. There's so much to live for. And now this is just another thing to live for, to help you. Y'all know I'm a life coach. Y'all know I help people. I love people. So now this is like something that I have to do. But anything that I do, he gets the glory. God gets the glory. I didn't beat cancer by myself. I just want to be clear. I beat cancer because of God's goodness and his grace. Let's be clear. And because of your prayers, you cannot tell me prayers do not work. They are not answered. I was laughing with my girlfriends today, my group, and I was like, the devil, and I think I told one of my girlfriends this, the devil was sick and tired of y'all praying for me. He was like, I'm going somewhere else, because them prayers were coming down so much and so fast. He was like, I'm just going to the next person, because there's too many prayers coming down for this woman named Kendell that we don't know. I had people saying, I don't even know you, sis, but I'm praying for the doctors, I'm praying for the surgeon's hands, I'm praying for the personnel in the hospital, I'm praying for the nurses. They was just praying. They was like, I don't even know you, but I'm praying for you. And you cannot tell me collective prayers do not work. So before I end, I want to give a shout out to my husband, Daryl, for being my caregiver and staying in the hospital on the couch the whole time that I had the surgery. I appreciate Daryl. I'm telling the people, I appreciate you. Stick your head in real quick. He had to drive me here.
Hey, everybody.
What you think real quick?
What do I think? It's all God. You guys keep praying. Keep fasting. Some of you fast for your family member who is going through. And, all praise and glory to God, because it's all about purpose. It's all about mission. And it's all about what you can do for the next person.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And let me tell you, I had friends fasting for me. I had friends praying for me. I had friends putting them up on prayer walls and having groups. I put a little prayer request at my church, in the online, so I appreciate that. So then, of course, my daughters Aaliyah and Amara, y'all already know, and they believed. They was like, you're going to survive. You hear your mom has cancer. I don't know if they did it privately or talked collectively together, but to me, they were strong little ladies, the ladies that I raised. And my one daughter, who would just work, well, both of them worry about me, but the little one, and she said, Mom, normally I would be worried about stuff like that, but I feel a peace. I was like, that's God. God gave you that peace, and they're praying and stuff. So my little ladies, I want to thank Kimberly Harden, who took me, my girl, who, I'm glad you were there for me, girl, during that visit. Nicole Hudson, I explained why. Yvette, I explained why. Basine Hedgeman, Lord have mercy. I want to thank my girl, Bay. She was fasting for me, and she likes food, y'all, but she was fasting for your girl. She was making sure, she sent me a gift through Zelle, like when you can have your first real meal, because I was on a liquid diet for like 5 days, and she was like, when you can have your first meal, I got you. Shout out to Latoya Bradford. She sent me a love offering too, out of the blue. I didn't even know she saw it. She's one of my old life coaching clients and sisters. So thank you, Latoya. Basine, let me just go back to Basine real quick. I could not, the toilets at the hospital are high, right? So when I got home and I need help going to the bathroom, to toilet, I was like, I didn't realize my toilet's so low. And I happened to be talking to her on the phone. Next thing she knows, she's like, I'm FedExing you a toilet seat. So it's called a cushion for your tushy or something like that. And it's like, it gives a little level. So Basine, thank you. My sisterhood group, Alunya, Tamia, Tyvoya, Carol, Tashira. Tashira sent me a love group. My god sister, she sent me a love offering. Didn't tell her to do that, but she did. And I thank you, Tashira. Little TT, I thank you so much. Did I get everybody in my group? Yep. And that's a sisterhood group that I started. Like, it's called Girl, Remix Your Life. And it was a support group for 40 and overs who are just dealing with life, whether it's divorce, career, marriage. And I started that group last year. So it's the 7 Brown Queens. And I started it to be supportive of them, and for them to have support with each other, and they end up supporting me. Look at God. Look how that works. Pastor Haddon, Darlene Haddon, Lady Haddon, Kim, Joe Hedgeman, Basine's husband, and Basine, my husband, and they all prayed for me over Zoom the night before my surgery. And we found out that my friend Kim should be a pastor, but that's a whole nother story. But Lady Haddon, Pastor Haddon, Joe, we did it, Joe. Thank you so much. Naisha Francis, my girl, she was already, I used to always call her my angel for other reasons, but just, I shared it with her, and she said, even though she's my really close friend, she said, thank you for sharing that with me, because that's very private, and she was just uplifting, and I appreciate that. I really do. Now, DJ Chaz, he put it up on his wife's prayer list. He didn't even know what he was putting up. I just said, I got to get surgery. I was meeting him at a location to have like a COVID mask dinner outside for my birthday. Never got to do it, and I told him I was having surgery. He said, I'm putting it up on my wife's wall. Leroy McKenzie Jr., my boy, it's your boy. We do a show every week called More Than Just a Movie, and I told him, and I appreciate all your prayers. Vera Martin, we've been friends since the 7th grade. Thank you for the songs. Thank you for the encouraging words. Thank you for remembering the morning I had surgery, sending me that text. Tasha Gordon, Kim Corbett Mays, I'll put y'all together. Even though I put y'all together and introduced y'all there 40 years ago, thank you, because y'all called me at the hospital. Y'all ain't sent no text, y'all called, and I appreciate that. And there's nothing wrong with text, but y'all was like, let me call her. So I appreciate that. Our friendship goes back to the 80s. I just say that. Candace and Taki, thank you for sending the texts and the prayers. Y'all didn't even know what y'all are praying for, but y'all just knew that I had surgery. I didn't disclose. I don't believe I disclosed that, and I think later maybe I did. But thank you so much for just continuously checking on me. Erica Kane, I appreciate you, girl, just from your words. I told her, I think after I had the surgery, y'all know her as like Billboard topping singer, but I know her as my sister from another mister. And just every text that I get from you is just a light, and I appreciate you. And so many others that I can't name, but are not less important. All of y'all out there that prayed for me, even if I don't say your name, I know your name and I see you, but I don't want to make this video too long. But thank you, each and every one of you. I appreciate you immensely. To my doctors, Dr. Paniker, Dr. Corkum, and Dr. Berg, my surgeon, a gift to me. The staff at St. Joe's Hospital in Towson, Maryland, above the rest, in my opinion. Everyone, from the time that I checked in, to the time that I got my first vitals, to the time they took me back to triage, everybody that played a part was amazing. Even when I got my blood drawn, before I went to St. Joe's, when I first found out, the phlebotomist and I had an amazing conversation. She was like, I'm so glad I got to see you. You were a light. She had no idea that she was taking my blood so I can go into the hospital and remove cancer from my body. Crazy. The lady that did the CT scan just was very informative and nice and comforting, and just everybody. But back to St. Joe's, the head nurse over there, Janet, everybody, all the nurses that came through, all the techs that came through, all the people who cleaned my room, all the CNAs. We talked about perfume and we talked about everything. When I left, when my husband told them I was leaving, they ran in and was like, we're gonna miss you. Everybody said they were going to miss me, and I'm gonna miss them too. They took great care of me. I wish I had all of their names here. But lastly, I feel like I'm doing an award show, but lastly, God, look at that light that just came. Look at that light. God, I just want to thank you, publicly, for saving my life. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. I am. And I know it's a miracle. And I know a lot of people out there that have cancer and they're struggling and they're going through chemo and radiation and losing their hair and losing their eyebrows and losing their appetites and taste and everything that all of those do. And I'm praying for y'all. I really, really am, because just to hear it and go through it. And I'm just thankful and grateful to God for saving my life. And allowing me to save my life is not in vain, because I'm going to go harder. I'm going to go stronger, and I'm going to get the word out about colon cancer. It's important. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Hopefully you learn to get your colonoscopy, to get checked, to advocate for yourself at the doctor, to pray for someone else without ceasing, and to believe and to say. I was walking around the whole time saying in the house, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. I was saying that repetitively. I wasn't saying I want to live. I don't want to die. I was like, I want to live. It's all about what you say and how you say it and the words that you choose to use. But I thank y'all for listening. I'm around some more, y'all. So I thank you. And I was joking, this sounds crazy, but I was like, Lord, don't let me survive cancer and then walk up the curb and get hit by a bus. And that's a joke. That's just my humor. But I thank y'all. And again, I can actually say the words. I'm Kendell Lenice, and I'm a survivor of colon cancer. Thank y'all. Hey, I'm back. And quickly, I don't want to leave anyone out. So when you start calling off names to thank, I don't want anyone to feel bad as if I didn't say their name. You're not forgotten. I just want to say that. Because of course, to my family, those of you that knew, I thank you for your support and your love and your prayers and your worries of me. It meant a lot to me that you showed your for real concern. So thank you for your text and your prayers and all of that. And I told, I believe, 2 people the day after my surgery when I was in the hospital, and they just called to check on me. My girl, Shadana, thank you for your prayers, and as well as Precious, thank you for seeing about me and checking on me. It means a lot. And both those 2 women are some singing women. So maybe I can write y'all a song about how I feel, because both of y'all just sang it. And then I didn't want to leave out Allison. Just thank you for everything. And thank you for your spirit and having your type of spirit, because when she first found out, she just was trying to talk to occupy my mind and to make me laugh. But it's so many other people. And I don't want you to think, if I didn't say your name, that you're not special to me. Because let me tell you something. And definitely, I talked about my family, but my cousin Nakia, who went into beast mode, sending me YouTube videos, Chris beats cancer, and like, you can beat it by the food you eat. Da, 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 da. She went in beast mode. She didn't stress, she didn't worry, she just started going into beast mode, sending those videos up a storm. So Nakia, thank you so much for that. And just every DM, every text, every post, every social media outpouring of positivity, just thank you. I thank you. I don't think I can thank you enough. And again, if I didn't say your name, it doesn't mean that. So I just wanted to come back on, because I don't want anybody to feel bad if I didn't say their name, but just thank you. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. And get your colonoscopy. It is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Wear your blue for your girl. Maybe I'll do something where we all can wear blue, because just because Colon Cancer Month is in March, it doesn't mean that we don't mind our colon every month of the year, right? So thank you guys. Bye.